Today on Apocalypse Auto, after being stolen, we finally get back Shane's 1987 Pontiac Fiero, and we're gonna restore this thing to its once famed glory.
Oh my God, I set it on fire again. Shane! Shane!
Is it
Fuego es fumar!
Alright everybody, let me formally introduce you to Shane's 1987 Pontiac Fiero GT.
You know it's a big deal when they put the name on the engine.
Which has a 2.8 liter 6-cylinder that makes 164 horsepower. And that engine, my friends, is located above the rear tires, making it America's first mid-engine production car. And Shane dug this Fiero out of a field down in Colorado back in 2009. And not being satisfied with the 1980s looks of this Pontiac Fiero, he decided to chop it up a little bit. And this is actually the car that inspired the name Apocalypse Auto. After all that hard work, the only footage we have of the Fiero before it was stolen is this old grainy cell phone footage from 2012. And then after that, the Fiero was stolen and missing for several years. And then one day, Shane got a phone call, and the police had finally found his Fiero. So he had the tow truck drop it off at his work so we could assess the damage.
Looks perfect. Fiero returns from Stolenville.
And going over this thing and looking at it, you could tell that it had been wrecked. But we decided to push it inside and get it up on the lift so we could get underneath of it and see what the true extent of the damage was. So the first thing we did was get the tires back onto the rims so that this thing would be easier to push around the shop. And after that, we raised the Fiero up higher on the lift to reveal the full damage that happened. And it looks like whoever stole the Fiero took it for a joyride and ran it into a curb, which ripped out the ball joint and broke the steering rack in half, which shoved the front driver's tire into the firewall so hard that it actually bent the frame a little bit. So after all the terrible things that happened to this poor Fiero, on the upside, the engine somehow seemed to be as good as ever. And sadly to say, after that, we didn't have the money to buy all the replacement parts for the Fiero, so it got stuck in a storage unit for a couple months. But now, it's time to unbury this Fiero and get it moving again.
Wayne looks so good, we're gonna have to change his name to Dapper Dan.
Did you ever see the new rims I got for it though?
No. Ooh. Big pimpin'. We're gonna get this sucker running.
You already run.
Well, yeah.
You gotta drive.
Just move. You get the
Steering rack.
Oh, nice.
It broke right in here, and we were using some chains to try and hold it. Wow. With two separate pieces.
Oh, everybody's probably wondering, where is the engine? She's not going nowhere. Looking good. Okay, look, still looking good.
So after trailering the Fiero over to Wayne's house, we unloaded it so that we could fix the steering rack and the ball joint on the front of the Fiero and get this thing drivable again.
I'll hold this wheel.
Hold it down, Wayne.
Got it.
Good job, Wayne.
I think we have a problem here. Yeah. That's not supposed to be separated. That's supposed to be one piece. And that would be why the steering didn't work very well.
So after fixing the front end of the Fiero and making this thing drivable for short distances, the first thing we did was drive it over to Wayne's shop so that we could tear apart the old, rusty, broken front end and weld this thing up stronger than ever.
Only with a lot beefier tube.
Yeah. Much better tube, not that galvanized fence post. It was strong stuff, it just didn't weld very well.
So after tacking together the front end of the Fiero with much better steel tubing than before, Shane lined out the rest of the structural pieces, and then Wayne got ready to lay down some beautiful welds.
Tacky, tacky.
There we go. Woo! Fucking burn my thumb. Always wear gloves. That's it? Yeah. Same spot.
It could be hot.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Then effed it up, Wayne. Still not done, eh?
You shut your mouth. Not done yet.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna weld your foot.
He's throwing sparks at me on purpose.
So after a glorious day full of welding on the front end of the Fiero, this thing was finally sturdy enough where we could take it out for a test run. You guys remember the adventure taco from episode 10 of Apocalypse Auto? Well, when we took that thing and the Suzuki out, we also brought along Shane's Fiero to see whether or not we could break this thing.
We're gonna see how much that front end really flexes.
stuck. I think I got high centered on the muffler. We should just have to push.
That would require me to put the camera down though. I can't push. Oh, look at that.
Where's it hung up at? Here, we got a lift on that.
It's hung up on the muffler.
There we go. Any rocks lately?
Did I? That's what the mud flaps are for.
That was insane.
It goes a lot smoother when you're going fast.
Sure. You're just leveling everything out.
Right?
Alright, so after taking this Fiero down some roads that I guarantee no other Fiero has been down before, the guys in the 4x4s were having a lot of fun, driving up and down these little hills they'd found and running over some logs. But according to Shane, they were doing it all wrong.
That was ridiculous.
So after the Fiero made this crazy jump, we decided to try again to see if we could get all four wheels off the ground.
Yeah? Good one.
Well, that's roughly where it's be.
Man, that thing is solid though, dude.
Way off the ground.
That was the gnarliest shit I've ever seen.
So since we weren't able to kill the Fiero with this ridiculous jump, the next thing that Wayne found was a ginormous puddle up against the side of this mountain, so we wanted to see if the Fiero would skip like a stone or sink like a boulder.
Ready? I forgot to roll the windows back up.
Oh god.
I didn't get that wet.
Shane got soaked.
I went snorkeling. I didn't even get as wet as Shane.
So after not being able to drown the Fiero or break it taking it off crazy jumps, we still have a ton of work to do on this thing, because in a couple weeks we're towing the Fiero with the Warchild bus down to California for Wasteland Weekend 2017. So that means when we get back up this boulder infested road, it's back over to Wayne's shop so that we can finish welding up the front end of this Fiero. So when we got over to the shop, we had a few things on the agenda. First of all, making a roll cage and a roof rack for the Fiero, and then Wayne wanted to weld this step onto the rear bumper of the bus so that it would make getting in and out of the back easier. So after Wayne got done welding up this step to the rear bumper of the bus, we figured chaining him to the back of the bus was the best way to see if his welds were good or not.
Hey, the Wasteland. Let's do this.
Ooh, that pinched my nipple. Oh, that's not a good idea with a chain.
Poor little nipple pincher.
The left one, then it got the right one. Tried to take it with it.
So after getting done welding up the step onto the back bumper of the bus, Wayne and Shane were talking about the best way to make a secure roll cage on the Fiero. And the best idea that we came up with was to take a plate of steel and then punch some holes through the plate of steel, weld those to the inside of the fender of the Fiero, and then squash a piece of round stock to weld to that plate of steel, and then build the roll cage and the roof rack off of that.
Smash this down so it's flat. We'll weld it to this.
Hell yeah.
Have it stick out of here.
Holy shnikes.
Oh,
So crazy.
wall socket.
We should be done by now.
Will you turn the wire speed up, please?
How the hell did I do that?
So as Wayne was getting finished up plug welding the steel plates onto the fenders of the Fiero, we noticed that there was a lot of smoke coming from inside the car, and then we were afraid we actually set this thing on fire.
For the weekend. Yay, for the weekend. Oh my God, I set it on fire again. Shane,
Is it act?
play the West Lamar. I got penetration. Yeah.
So after saving the Fiero from being burned to the ground, it was time to squash some round pipe flat so we could weld that to the steel plates we just welded to the fenders, and then build the roll cage from there.
Here to where this one will meet down into it.
I think it needs to be a little bit higher up to get out of that fender line. The fender line comes along here, and we're gonna have to.
Perfect.
Mikey stuff. We got a hell of a gap up front.
Think we're doing it.
After Wayne got done laying down some miracle welds on these huge gaps in the roll bar, we moved into measuring out the other side of the Fiero, and then it was time to start working on the roof rack.
Yeah, beautiful mating. Oh, it's just a little gap. Oh, everybody loves a little gap. Yeah. Need you to hold the bottom.
So after staying up and working on this Fiero till 4 in the morning, Wayne figured out the hard way why you never weld in shorts. So after they put out Wayne's sock fire, we decided to meet up the next day so we could check out the damage to Wayne's foot.
Did you bring some ice cream for your bunny?
Bunny? Oh, I got your bunny. Ooh, that looks nasty.
That's commitment.
Oh, and I had the tire mounted sitting up here, just sitting right here, kind of angled.
Nice.
It just looks badass.
I'm willing to bet that I probably would have had better chances of not getting burned if I was welding in my sandals.
Because it wouldn't have got trapped.
Just would have fallen off the side.
Nice.
Right through this bar, I found long enough bolts.
Hells yeah.
And just sticking right out straight. We want to do a piece of that expanded steel
Nice.
on here. Do the tire mounts.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So after checking out all the work that Wayne and Shane did to the Fiero and the damage that it did to Wayne's foot, we're still not even close to being done working on this Fiero. And the work will continue in the next episode of Apocalypse Auto when we introduce you to our buddy Tyler and his 1996 Crown Victoria Police Interceptor that we're going to make look like it survived World War III. Don't forget to follow the link in the description and go over to our Apocalypse Auto shop. And until next time, thank you all so much for watching.